y'all, welcome back to my channel. I am Muriel, this nurse Muriel. To my new subscribers, hey, how y'all doing? Thank y'all for hitting that subscribe button. To my oldies but goodies, how y'all doing? For my new subscribers, I'm Muriel. I'm a registered nurse. I've been a registered nurse 5 years. Prior to that, I was an LPN for 17 years. I previously thought 18, but I had to do the math. I was a CNA for about a year prior to that, and I actually prefer long-term care. However, I am currently full-time. Yes, I went back full-time. I know there's hardly any full-time nurses working anywhere as far as staff, but I'm working within mental health. I accepted a full-time position, but I still work my PRN long-term care because y'all know for me, long-term care is where it's at. So on today's video, first let me say I'm sorry it's been so long, y'all. It's been 3 days, but I've been trying to shoot videos out every day, and I don't know, I've been recording, y'all, but I just felt like nothing I recorded was worth even putting out. It was just, you know, chitter chatter. Like I wasn't really saying much, and I don't want to get on here and just be rambling, and you know, people will see that and they won't come back to your channel. I wanted to give y'all some valuable information. So on today's video, I'm going to talk to my new nurses and some current nurses who have tried long-term care. I was watching someone's reel. Yeah, I still need to do my reel. Anyway, I was watching someone's short reel or whatever it is. Y'all know I don't really know what you call those things. And the nurse was talking. She's a long-term care nurse. She was talking about going to work, having 40 patients, and was saying how the med pass was so long and she didn't have time for this and she didn't have time for that. And I see videos like that give long-term care a bad name, even though long-term care it can be stressful. Y'all know for me, it's not even stressful like that anymore. I've worked in the hospital, and to me, that's some real stress. Like the hospital was stressful, okay? But long-term care to me is not that stressful. But what you have to do is you have to start setting boundaries, y'all. Y'all going to these long-term care facilities, and you may not know because you're a new nurse, and you may not know. But do not let these people give you 40 patients on a day shift. Don't do it. It's too many jobs out there for you to be accepting a job where they're going to give you 40 on a day shift. I'm sorry, the administration know they're wrong for that. The owners of the company know they're wrong for that. I don't care what state law say about ratios. I don't care. 40 on a day shift is too much, and I can speak to this because I've done it before. When I came into nursing, I was 23. I used to say 22. Once I did the math, I realized I was actually, I think, 23 when I came into nursing. When I came into nursing, I came into nursing working in the hospital, and then I went to long-term care because I felt like me as an LPN, long-term care was a better fit for me. But I went into long-term care at a young age, and so I didn't know any better, and I want to save y'all from doing that. However, I will say 20-something years ago, the level of acuity was not as great, as high as it is now. When I would work as a long-term care nurse years ago, and they would assign me 40 patients, them 40 patients, out of 40 patients, I might have had 2 G-tubes. They weren't on all these different medications. The acuity wasn't as high. And so once I gave them their pills, I can actually get 40 patients done in about 3 hours. And, you know, the afternoon med pass or whatever. But anyway, I just want to say, do not let these facilities do this to you. If you walk into a facility and, like, when you go for orientation or whatever, you go to a facility and you see the nurses there and she's working with 40 patients. If she's working with anything over 30 patients in a long-term care facility on a day shift, that may not be the facility for you. Y'all know me. My limit really is like 26, 27. Depending on the acuity. Now, I will do 30 if the acuity is I'm popping and I'm giving, I'm popping and I'm giving, and I don't have too many G-tubes, I don't have trachs, I don't have that. But if I got trachs, I got G-tubes and all that, I'm sorry, you're not giving me more than 25 patients. It is what it is. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. When I work my PRN, and I'm talking day shift specifically, night shift is a little different because I don't care what anybody says, you do have more downtime on night shift in long-term care facility. You do. I don't care if you know what you're doing and you know how to utilize time management wisely. You do have more downtime in long-term care on night shift, so you can accommodate up to, I'm gonna say, I wouldn't even say 40 is bad. As the acuity is low, these people are not getting that many nighttime. Like if you have someone to help you with that 7P that 7, 8, 9 p.m. med pass, 40 is not a high acuity on night shift in my opinion. And I can say that because I still work with that and I get the job done. And sometimes I'm just sitting there waiting for day shift to come in because I know how to utilize time management, and I do it very well. You can do it very well as well. You just got to find what works to you. So 40 on night shift is not really a lot to me, depending on the level of acuity. However, I'm not working anybody's job if they're giving me, I'm gonna say, like I said, low level acuity 30. If I got trachs, G tubes, and all that, 25, 26 is my max. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. Don't let them do it. That's why long-term care has such a bad rap, because we nurses, we get into it and we allow these places to work us like we 12 years a slave, and I'm sorry, don't do it. Don't allow them to do it. So I am here to tell you, I'm telling you right now, don't do it. If you accept it, don't complain about it, because you put yourself in that predicament. You accepted that assignment knowing that the numbers wasn't even making sense. When I go work a facility as an agency nurse, honey, the first thing I do is I count the number of patients. As a staff nurse, I don't care if you work there a week. If you've been there a week or 2 weeks and you realize it's not for you, girl, leave. Don't sit there and struggle with that. Leave. Okay? Jobs come a dime a dozen. I've never been without a job. With my nursing license, I've never been without a job if I wanted one. I grew up in a small town where there was only one long-term care facility. I just went to work to the next town over. It's always a job if you're a nurse. That's one thing about it. You will always have a job. I just feel like long-term care gets such a bad rep, y'all, for real. And it's really not that hard to me. I think it's hard. I think people make it hard because they accept these assignments that they know are just ridiculous. Now, I know you get more patients when you're in long-term care than you would in the hospital. I have peers who will never work. Like, they work in long-term care and they went to the hospital and they would never come back to long-term care. Then I have peers who work in the hospital and they, like me, they worked in long-term care as LPNs and they went to work in the hospital, and long-term care to them is like easy work. It's like ain't nothing to it. And that's the way I see it. I see it as it ain't nothing to it. It's really easy work. It's just the organization, and most of the time, like I say in a lot of places, in a lot of videos, it's my peers that I have the issue with in long-term care. It's not the patients and it's not the workload, but I don't allow them to put too much on me. And when I don't allow them to put too much on me, and when I work facilities that I feel like is overwhelming, and when I have worked at facilities even as staff and I feel like it's overwhelming, I leave. Like, I don't stay there. The PRN place that I found, y'all, I talk so much trash about my coworkers because my coworkers are lazy. Like, do I want to call them lazy or do I want to call them incompetent? I almost feel like it's a little bit of both, but the work is not hard. I don't know why they're so lazy, but the work is not hard at all. Like, I went yesterday and I supervised. I did all the treatments as far as wound care, like dressings. I did all the treatments. So the nurses had really not much to do but pass pills. But it's really not as hard. Like, I be looking at some of these videos and people be talking about long-term care. And I understand it's not for everybody, y'all. And I will say again, when I worked long-term care prior to going in the hospital, like I worked hospital initially when I graduated as an LPN. It wasn't hard to me in the hospital when I first worked, but like I said, that was 20 something years ago. That was like a level 3, I believe, or level 2 hospital. It wasn't like the acuity level of the patients there could not be acute. They had to be below a certain acuity to come to that hospital. It wasn't hard at all. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. That first hospital I worked, it wasn't hard at all. And I probably would have stayed there had I been an RN. I could go back there now because it's in my hometown. I come here all the time. Y'all see, I could go back there now. But I know the acuity of the patients now are higher, and I know this hospital tries to, like, it's not the best hospital. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. The hospital I worked as an RN, the acuity level of those patients are just about the most severe cases. It was too much for me. It was too much. I did more work I did, when they say RNs act like, feel like they don't have to do ADL care, let me tell you, them RNs in the hospital doing ADL care. There's no way to get around it. Them RNs in the hospital, they changing patients, they doing blood sugars, they're doing ADL care. So RNs don't want to do work, and they don't want to do that. They may get away with that in long-term care, but they're not getting away with it in the hospital. I did more ADLs in the hospital as a nurse than I have ever done in long-term care as a nurse. Now, not in long-term care as a CNA, but as a nurse in long-term care, I did more ADL care in the hospital. The long-term care is easy work to me. I mean, I don't know what I can say to make y'all... I'm not trying to change your opinion on long-term care, because I know a lot of people feel like, oh, it's too much. The med pass take 2.5 hours, but you're there for 12 hours. So the morning med pass take 2.5 hours. You're there for 12 hours. You got 9.5 more hours to... And sometimes you can be stretched to your limit. Like, it's just stuff coming at you, the family coming at you. Take all that in stride, y'all, and keep it pushing. Take it in stride and keep it pushing. You can only do so much as long as your patients are alive and there's no change in their acuity. If the patient med is scheduled at 8 a.m. and they don't get the pill to 10 a.m. and they're scheduled again to get the pill at 12 p.m., guess what? Don't give them that pill to 2 p.m., okay? You fell 2 hours behind on the morning med, then give them their next pill at 2 p.m. And then if this come due again at 4 p.m., guess what? You give it at 6 p.m. because 9 times out of 10, they only getting it 3 times a day. Okay? You just got to do things. It doesn't matter the time. A lot of medications, the time doesn't matter as long as it's 3 times a day and you space out. You space it out. Man, guess what you can do as the nurse? You can set the med time so at the beginning of the hall, those patients' meds are due at 8 o'clock. You're getting to them between 7:30 and 8:45. So you're still within that time limit. Those last few patients at the end of the hall, you can change their med times to 9, 1, and 5. They don't have to be 8, 12, and 4. You can change their med times to 9, 1, and 5 because you're getting to them later in that morning, and so you still be in compliance. I don't think a lot of nurses know that. You can change times you can change the times on your meds. You can't change the frequency because the doctor ordered the frequency, but you can change the time. So if you're in the beginning of your med pass, if y'all understand what I'm saying, if you're at the top of your hall and you're starting your med pass at 7:30, 7:45, and they're due at 8, by the time you get to the middle of the hall, you're approaching like 9 o'clock. So if you have an 8 o'clock med pass, it's gonna turn red. What you can do is for those people at the end of your hall, except for your 2-feeders now, but those people at the end of your hall, you can schedule their meds for 9, 1, and 5. They don't have to be 8, 12, and 4. That way you're in compliance with the times that you're giving it. I don't think a lot of nurses know that, but I'm here to tell you, you can do that, okay? Just know what you're doing when you go in and change the time. Just know what you're doing. Don't just change it for one med change. And then make sure the med is a med that doesn't have to be given before breakfast. Now, 2-feeders are totally different. I would always leave my 2-feeders 612, 612. You know what? Let me lie to y'all. 2-feeders are scheduled 612, 612. And this is something that I'm looking at going through the facility where I work as a PRN nurse and asking the other nurses would they be open to doing this. So 2-feeders is 612, 612. However, y'all know that 6 p.m. med pass and that 6 a.m. med pass is kind of heavy when you're doing 2-feeders and you're doing your other PO meds. So I was thinking about suggesting that we do 2-feeders on a different time, like instead of 612, 612, we have some of them times to be like 3 a.m. or like 4 a.m. That way I can start them at 3 a.m. and I can do my 2-feeders and have them done before it's time for my PO people. And then I will have their 6 p.m. due at 4 p.m. That way I can start at 3 p.m. and still be in compliance. So you'd be more like on a 12. If y'all understand what I'm saying, I'm trying to see how we'll do the time, just to give y'all, I'm brainstorming now. So instead of them getting meds at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m., we would schedule them for 4 p.m. and 4 a.m. That way we can start them at 3 p.m. and 3 a.m. And that way we're not running into doing our 2 feeders with our other patients. I feel like that'll work, because then I'm not running into doing my 2 feeders along with my other med. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I already do that. I'm gonna be honest. My 2 feeders, they get the heaviest med pass at 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. I start my med pass at 3 a.m. on my 2 feeders. I get all of them done, because like I said, this one hall I work, there's 7 2 feeders on that hall on night shift. I start at 3 a.m. I'm done like around 4:15 a.m., around 4:15, 4:30 a.m. with all my 2 feeders, and that's with if they need a bag hung. That's if I need to do their YouTube dressing and all that, and all their meds. I have them done. I can now sit down. I sit down from that time until about 5:15, because I can knock out the rest of my patients within an hour. Because most of them, y'all know, in the mornings they getting Synthroids and they getting Prilosec, or they getting a finger stick. You know, it's like I can run through and knock them out when I'm doing my PO meds on my other patients who are getting Prilosec and Protonics and Synthroids. Because y'all know 6 a.m. med passes, Prilosec, Protonics, Synthroids, and blood sugar checks. But if you feel like you can be productive and you can get through, say, 26, 27 day shift long-term care patients, you got it. Don't let them put more on you than you can handle. And if you feel like it's more than you can handle, then leave. Because I'd rather you leave than to be miserable and to go out and just putting out, to go out and then just be putting out, like making these shorts and these reels saying how you got 40 patients on day shift, when y'all, come on y'all, that's not, they're doing that to you, but you're really doing that to yourself. Because one thing about these facilities, once you come and do something and they see that you can do it, even if it really exceeds whatever expectations should be normal expectations, they will continuously do that to you. So if they see you came in and you had a nurse call off and you worked 40 patients and you worked the hall that day, then if a nurse call off again, they ain't gonna be trying to worry about getting no help for you, because they're gonna be like, oh, well, she's done it before, you know. Stop, nip that in the bud. Nip that stuff in the bud immediately. Don't do it. If a nurse calls out and say you're working the floor and there's 40 patients and there's supposed to be 2 nurses, and the nurse calls out, yeah, I'm sorry, y'all gonna have to put MDS to put a treatment nurse, or they want these unit managers, somebody gonna have to give me this card, because I'm not about to start this precedent. Don't start a precedent that you don't want to keep up, because they will continuously try to do it to you. Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I am Muriel, the nurse Muriel, and I will catch y'all on the next one.